This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday morning, May 14th. As you know, no other day is like today, and I appreciate you taking the time here on the Saturday morning or on the weekend if you're hearing a repeat of the show to have tuned in. Lots going on in the market. As you know, here at Wall Street Raw, I take a contrarian's view to the business and to Wall Street, having been a trader on the Chicago Board Options Exchange, but also been a journalist for all these years. And I'm pretty much in dispute with the state of American journalism. You know, that's pretty much the theme of the show. We have the Eat the Bankers section with my good friend Sinclair No every week, and he'll be up with us, of course, on segments 2 and 3 this morning, so stay tuned for that. He's agreed to stay with us on another segment. My feeling is that ideology has permeated hard news coverage, and honest reporting is becoming almost scarce, both in the financial and political circles, and the role of the Fourth Estate has been lost by the press in this country, and our job here hopefully is to try to make up for that a little bit and trying to bring out stories that are not widely covered, or to challenge events and stories the way the events are covered in those stories, and to talk about what we think really is happening out there. On top of that, of course, is our basic view, my basic view, that markets are rigged worldwide. There is no market that is not rigged. And if you're playing the game of Wall Street, you have to be aware of this. And what we're doing on a technical basis, and what I do at my website, vrtrader.com, is, you know, to accept that fact, but understand that, again, that we're playing the game with big forces that change on a dime, that do what they want to do. There's, again, no rule of law. And we have what's known as financial engineering on Wall Street. And we're in big dispute with that, where, you know, for example, companies, you know, buy up shares to manipulate prices higher by reducing the float, or by lowballing earnings estimates ahead of news releases, and then driving stocks higher. And of course, you got the Fed at virtually 0% interest rates, and probably headed to negative rates, as we've seen already in Japan and Europe and so forth. And you know, this is the game that's out there. Of course, you know, there's reasons for doing this. You know, hopefully they believe political stability and social stability is the goal, so it's better driving stock prices higher and covering up their tracks, so to speak, than to see another market crash. Speaking of that, good friend and I guess market guru Carl Icahn has been out this past week talking about how he's about 150% more on the short side, or his portfolio was leaning more on the negative side, and he says a day of reckoning is coming. And he's looking for the possibility of a market crash. As you know, I've been pretty bearish myself here. The market virtually topped out last year. I mean, this is not a new story. If you look at the Dow Transportation Average, might have topped out back in November of 2014, and that's a leading indicator for the market. Carl himself sold Apple stock, Netflix stock at higher prices. So, it's evident that we're running into a troublesome period. And even if you're not a super bear, remember the adage, sell May, go away. We are in that negative period, so if we're going to repeat the patterns that we've seen in recent years, you get a sharp sell-off, and then perhaps after the election, the market takes off again, regardless of who is successful. Remember, Wall Street does what it wants to do, and though you may be a supporter of Trump as I am, or perhaps Hillary Clinton, the markets will do what they want to do, and the markets will rally or go down regardless. So we could be entering a bear market no matter who gets elected. In fact, that's sort of what the numbers are suggesting. We hit a 7-year peak in the markets. We seem to be getting repetitive 7-year peaks, a breakdown in many of the key leading indices. So there is some concern out there. Of course, during the summer, seasonality does happen. It appears that just about every summer we run into some big trouble of sorts that triggers a sell-off. Last summer, for example, in 2015, China blew up. In the summer of 2014, it was Ebola and the Ukraine story that drove the market lower. In 2013, Greece blew up. 2012, Europe blew up. Going way back to 2008, of course, that's when the financial crisis hit. So, there's some bad news coming, this summer, more than likely, which will, take the markets lower. And I think that's really what you have to be, prepared for. And, again, thank you for joining us on our show. We're going to have Sinclair up here on segments 2 and 3. We have a good show for you there, covering a lot of interesting news stories. My friend Harry Boxer from the Tech Trader, will be joining us as well here this morning. We don't take phone calls. So if you'd like to contact me, you can do so at my email address, mark.vrtrader@gmail.com. Mark.v as in Victor, R as in Robert Trader @gmail.com, and hopefully we'll respond back to you. Many of you remember me, probably the old-timers, not the new guys. I just got back from the Money Show in Las Vegas, and a lot of my older subscribers and contacts, remember me from being an elf on the old Louis Rukeyser Wall Street Week television program from the 1980s, 90s. Of course, he started that show in the 70s, and others remember me from the Nightly Business Report with my good friend Paul Kangas. Did that for many, many years. So it was nice seeing all those people at the show, and hopefully many of you attended. We were talking about that both in our newsletter. But again, if you want more information, go to vrtrader.com or wallstreetraw.com, and if you need to email me again, mark.vrtrader@gmail.com. A lot of interesting things going on. One of the things that I brought up at the Money Show, and I've been writing about in my newsletters, is the correlation with the markets and political events and how one could profit. Though we did take profits in these stocks, we were long, for example, the cement stocks, some big-name cement stocks, such as Martin Marietta Materials, MLM, Vulcan Materials, VMC, even a little bit of CX, which is the Mexican cement stock. Why? Because Trump was talking about building a wall. And if you looked at the charts, you see these stocks starting to move up. So we've been trading those on and off for actually several months, doing very well in them. But we did take a profit in them here because of market conditions. But I believe that if Trump does get in and that wall is built, you're going to see these stocks go to dramatically higher levels. In fact, MLM and VMC were actually making new bull market highs in recent weeks here, despite what was going on in the overall market. So this is sort of what we're focusing in on, doing something that's a little different. And everyone laughs when I brought this up, and you virtually hear no coverage about this at all in the financial media, but we were trading these at our website and talking about stuff like that. Other things we talk about, for example, are the cannabis stocks, the marijuana stocks. I have a newsletter called Vice News Raw. And a lot going on in that area. Big companies are starting to talk about getting involved in that. Companies like Philip Morris has got involved with an Israeli marijuana tech company, for example. Walgreens came out this past week or so talking about in a report how they're considering getting involved in the cannabis space at the Walgreens stores. Just recently on 4/20, which is the big marijuana day, April 20th, General Mills, the big company, was running ads up in Colorado about their pizza rolls and marijuana on billboards. So a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll be back with you in a moment. I appreciate you tuning in here at Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
A good stove is at the top of the list for any serious survivalist. That's why you have to see the full range at Emberlit.com. Simple, elegant, but extraordinarily efficient. Available in titanium or stainless steel, the Emberlit line of stoves are ultralight, pack flat, and work great. Fueled only by sticks and debris. From emergency situations to long-term survival, Emberlit stoves are up to the task. Emberlit, the most convenient, easy-to-carry wood stoves on the planet. See them all at Emberlit.com.
Do you have dry hands or itchy, peeling skin? Are your cracked feet in need of a makeover for sandal season? Hi, my name is Diane Cook, the creator of B-Spa Hand and Foot Cream. B-Spa is all natural, 16% beeswax, marigold extract, and other essential oils and nutrients. B-Spa is great for exceptionally dry hands and feet, but B-Spa can be used anywhere on the body. I am sure you will see a difference overnight. B-Spa is the only cream you will ever need. The convenient 2.5-ounce size jar travels nicely, and a little goes a long way. B-Spa Hand and Foot Cream costs $29.99. Use promotion code 101 for free shipping. Order B-Spa Hand and Foot Cream today at bspa.com. That's BEESPA.com. That's BEESPA.com.
Suffering from illness or disease? Frequently in pain? Overstressed? Always tired? The solution is to oxygenate your cells because disease cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. Introducing Vital Ion, the first mineralized edible oxygen in the world. Go to toolsforfreedom.com and get the Miracle of Oxygenation DVD free with any Vital Ion purchase. Call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Let Vital Ion edible oxygen be your daily fountain of youth.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back, my good friend Sinclair No from EatTheBankers.com and financial commentator KFNN 1510 Phoenix. Sinclair, we have a lot to talk about this week. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
I think the big story to top off, if I know you agree or not, is the Brazil story. There's so much going on there with with President Dilma Rousseff and her impeachment, and because it had a financial connection, I think that's really why this becomes of interest to us here. She was playing with the budget a little bit, apparently.
Right. She's been accused of tampering with the numbers to try and show a balanced budget, or more so balanced budget. Of course, Dilma Rousseff's problems go even deeper. She was a major executive at Petrobras, which is the state-run oil company, and a major economic engine in the Brazilian economy. And there was a great deal of corruption at Petrobras. She's not charged with that specifically, but this past week, the Senate in Brazil went ahead with an impeachment vote, which the way they do it in Brazil, there was already an impeachment vote in essentially the House of Representatives. That was followed by a vote in the Senate. Now there will be approximately a 6-month period where they'll get around to an actual impeachment trial. During that 6-month period, as of just the other day, Dilma Rousseff has been suspended, and there is a new acting president. The vice president stepped in. His name is Michel Temer, and Temer has been accused of corruption as well. He's from a different party than Rousseff, but Temer has been accused of corruption as well. So then we go beyond that to the Speaker of the House, a fellow by the name of Cunha, who is also charged with corruption. Then you dig into the rest of the Congress, basically, and over 50% of Congress is either under investigation or charged with various corruption practices. You name it, there's just widespread corruption in Brazil, and people are so fed up with it that I think that they're really looking for change. I've talked with some people in Brazil, some good friends and people that I know that some with Petrobras, some with other companies, and the basic idea that I keep hearing is, well, we don't know if Dilma Rousseff is guilty. We don't know if the politicians that will replace her will be any better, but we do know that we need to change something, and that appears to be what's happening now. And the results so far, the response has been generally positive. The Brazilian real has really suffered over the past few years, lost more than half of its value. There's been a little bit of a rally there. The Brazilian Bovespa has seen a little bit of a rally on this impeachment news. So there's a positive market response. The question is, can that change lead to real change for the Brazilian political system and the Brazilian economy, which has been going through a horrible recession? Now, we don't really think about Brazil very much, but we should, because by some measures it's either the 7th or 8th largest economy in the world, land mass roughly the size of the United States, over 200 million people. It's a substantial economy. It's a major player, and of course the largest economy in South America.
Yeah, I know you spend a lot of time down there, so I really wanted to cover that. So it really hits home with you, I understand.
It really does. I've spent a lot of time. I consider it to be a beautiful country with some great people. So it's really a shame to see what people are suffering through right now.
Well, speaking of corruption, the International Monetary Fund published a research paper apparently this week that says public sector corruption siphons $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion annually from the global economy. This is part and parcel to this, isn't it?
Well, it really is. And not all of that's Brazil, by the way. Probably some of it is from the U.S. as well.
Oh, that would surprise me.
But the IMF put together this paper, and they based it on World Bank research. Paper estimated that about 2% of global gross domestic product is now paid in bribes annually. So we're talking a couple of $1 trillion maybe. And then there, of course, indirect cost. It reduces government revenues, encourages tax evasion, reduces incentives to pay tax, leaves less money available for, things like health care, education, and those sort of things. And it's money that basically just kind of sits typically offshore, as we've seen recently in the revelations about the Panama Papers.
So much of the discussion this past week has been, political about Trump situation and what he's going to be doing about it, vice president and so forth. So maybe we'll defer on that a little bit. I think we're getting our dose of that in the regular press. But I did notice last year there was a record amount set for corporate mergers, about $4.7 trillion, and that's sort of vaporized this year. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah. A lot of deals have been falling apart lately. The Pfizer-Allergan deal, the Baker Hughes-Halliburton deal, about, I believe it's $400 billion in deals that have fallen apart, which is right at triple the amount that we've seen for this period through the year. And a lot of it has to do with regulatory concerns, antitrust concerns, which we haven't heard that much about in the recent past. But you got to think, well, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something to the idea that some of these companies would have a competitive monopoly type of advantage, and perhaps in the Pfizer deal, it was a little bit more to do with a tax inversion, and being the reason why regulators stepped in on that.
Also, it could be that maybe we're entering a recession, too, and maybe they can't sell the deal, so we'll see.
That may be a good point as well. I mean, we've been seeing so much financial engineering going on, and a fair amount of that has been through merger and acquisition activity. You could also look at stock buybacks and margin expansion as reasons for that behind financial engineering, but certainly M&A activity is a large part of it.
Sinclair, we ran out of time. Hopefully we'll have you back here on our next segment. So thank you for joining us. We're talking to Sinclair No, financial commentator, KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of EatTheBankers.com. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you, Sinclair, and we will be back in just a moment. We have my good friend Harry Boxer joining us here on segment 4 today as well from the Tech Trader. In fact, Harry and I spent time together at the Monday show in Las Vegas this past week. So good correlation there with technical analysis, and we try to look at that as well here, as you know, besides the fundamental stories that Sinclair and I talk about. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us here on Wall Street Raw.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-900-0684.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs with no hassle. Never have to clean your machine by hand again. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-900-0684. That's 1-800-900-0684.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site. 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis. 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682. 1-800-591-1682.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Welcoming back Sinclair Nell, my good friend from KFN 1510 Phoenix and the author of EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, I read that there's a lot of oil tankers sitting at sea storing oil, either waiting for prices to go higher or even to sell what they have. What's going on with the oil tankers sitting offshore? It's becoming a new storage facility, a floating storage facility.
It really is. We keep hearing about oil prices that have gone up since February, and we've seen an enormous rally, 75% or so, since the lows that were set in February. And you start digging into that, and that's not just a simple supply and demand equation that you're looking at. A 75% rally has not been accompanied by a 75% shortfall in supplies. Demand hasn't increased, decreased more than likely. So you can't just look at the pure supply and demand equation. So where is all the oil? Well, we still have gluts, even with the wildfires in Canada, even with the bombings in Nigeria and some shortfalls from Libya and other places. We still have an oil glut going on. And in fact, the Cushing, Oklahoma area is pretty much full. I mean, the tanks there are pretty close to full capacity right now. So what we've seen is that some of the major commodity trading firms have just been holding primarily Brent crude. They're holding their inventory in offshore storage. Basically, the oil tankers that are at sea are not coming into port and unloading their cargo. And they're holding those ships at sea, just waiting for a price rise and essentially trying to manipulate prices a little bit. It's a speculative scheme, and sometimes speculative schemes like that tend to backfire. But the oil market has been extremely volatile as a result of this and some other things. Just pure speculation is part of it. But it appears that once again we're seeing a major market where some of the big players are trying to manipulate prices.
We don't believe in market manipulation here on Wall Street Raw, do we, Sinclair?
I'm shocked to find out there's gambling going on in this casino, I tell you.
We thought it was always just supply and demand, and it was just an even keel situation, didn't we? That's at least what we were brought up to believe. I just read the Bank of England lowered its growth forecast. So we still have, worldwide deflation. We still see negatives in Europe, despite all the optimistic forecasts we see over here. And they held their interest rate at 0.5% for their 86th straight month.
Yeah, not a surprise, particularly when you consider that they've got the Brexit to consider next month. And so I don't think that the Bank of England and maybe even the Federal Reserve will hold off on that a little bit. On Friday, Christine Lagarde, the chief of the International Monetary Fund, said there would be no economic positives to Britain leaving the European Union and that the impact would range from pretty bad to very, very bad, which is economic speak, I suppose. But it's a big issue over there in Europe and in Britain as to whether or not Britain's going to get out of the Euro Union.
We had some bad news during the summer, Sinclair, so maybe this is going to be the shoe that drops, so we'll see.
It might be. I mean, that would certainly be something that would shock the global economy, that's for sure.
Meanwhile, the FTC apparently is reopening its antitrust case against Google.
Yeah, Google's been facing problems over in Europe as well. There's concern about what's going on with Google's domination with Android smartphones and tablets. And now in the U.S., FTC officials appear to be reopening their case, collecting information, deciding whether they will indeed reopen their case. They're going to have a vote on that. The original case was closed in 2013. They didn't find any wrongdoing, but Google has continued to grow and become even more dominant. This past week, for at least a brief while, Google became the largest company in the world by market cap as Apple dropped down under $90 a share for a while there and hit a low. Google was briefly the largest company in the world. So, yeah, there's probably some concerns about antitrust to go along with Google.
Well, there's also some concern. Apparently, a federal judge blocked Staples' acquisition of Office Depot this week as well. So
we're starting to see that more and more. Right. This week it was the Staples Office Depot. Last week, Baker Hughes Halliburton. Last month, Pfizer Allergan. It looks as if there's starting to be a little bit of recognition of this when it comes to all the M&A. But, you got to consider, if we don't see M&A activity, we're certainly not seeing organic sales growth. So if they're not doing it that way and maybe there are not as many buybacks, what is going to keep the market in balance? That might be what kind of tips the market over into the summer as well, is if we continue to see M&A activity dry up, buybacks dry up, and, of course, if there's any interest rate hikes, that would affect margin expansion as well.
In a few seconds we have left, we want to jump on the rigging a little bit here as well. As we know, Volkswagen had its problems, but apparently this past week, Mitsubishi now says it's been cheating on gas mileage ratings.
Yeah, they came out a week or so ago and said that they had been cheating on gas mileage ratings on 4 models that were sold in Japan. It turns out that it wasn't just 4 models. It was all the models that they sold in Japan. But they absolutely tell us, no, they weren't cheating on fuel economy ratings for anything that was sold in the U.S. Huge problem for Mitsubishi. And who steps in but Nissan to buy up a controlling stake in Mitsubishi, as Mitsubishi is kind of on the down and outs here.
Market rigging again, Sinclair, on all levels. That's all we can say. That's just incredible.
If it's not one thing, it's another, Mark.
Well, we were happy because it gives us content for this program. So let them keep doing it, and I'm sure they're going to continue to do it. We're talking to Sinclair No.
We never have a shortage of things to talk about.
That's for sure. Sinclair No, my good friend, is 1510 KFN in Phoenix and author of the EatTheBankers.com blog. Thanks for joining us, Sinclair. We'll talk next week, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty more to talk about.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye. Thank you again, Sinclair. Yep, we laugh about it, but the theme of the show is, the rigging of the markets and the misreporting or the lack of full reporting on the part of the financial press. And that's where Wall Street Raw came from. And on the top of segment 3, you hear excerpts from my favorite movie, the 10 Commandments. A couple excerpts when God's giving Moses some commandments. And we throw that in just to remind you there is a rule of law. There's no freedom without the rule of law, and apparently Wall Street, not to mention the political side, which is on a scale almost unbelievable with the Obama administration, but on the financial side, it's just an ongoing process, and we sort of count on it, so we see that all the time here on the show, and using my volume analysis and my VR Trader, we're able to pick a lot of that stuff up. Stay tuned. Good friend Harry Boxer is with us from the Tech Trader in just a moment.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507.
This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Would you like to receive $250 to $1,000 cash per day? Go to richmoneyrich.com. No website, no selling, no explaining. Just take these simple 2 steps and go to richmoneyrich.com. You can be generating cash in the next 24 hours simply using this system. Good news is, it runs on 100% autopilot, and you don't need any experience to get started. It's easy. Get your share of easy riches and go to richmoneyrich.com. That's richmoneyrich.com. Go now. Brought to you by the Conservative Investor. Current returns not indicative of future results.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
There's nothing more enticing and intoxicating than the finest meat cooking on an open flame. Freeze-dried meat from newharvest.com is U.S. grown, 100% all natural with no extra fillers. Just grass-fed beef and free-range chicken guaranteed to stay fresh and delicious. Add New Harvest freeze-dried meats to your current food storage. You'll buy direct from the factory, not a third party, ensuring the best price and the highest quality. See all our products at newharvestfoods.com. That's newharvestfoods.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcoming back my good friend and special guest, Harry Boxler from the techtrader.com. Harry and I were both presenting at the Money Show in Las Vegas this past week. Did a fabulous job. We had great attendance, and everybody loves, I know, Harry's work, and he's very conventional in terms of technical analysis, relying a lot on the old basic rules of charting. And I know a lot of the newcomers to the business really don't pay attention to support lines, trend lines, flags, pennants, and they really need guidance from someone like Harry. Harry, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, as always.
So tell us what's going on in the markets now, Harry. We have a very choppy market here the last 3 weeks. Seems like the market may have topped out, but at the same time, we're getting a lot of star performers, and you're picking a few of them on your service, I know.
Yeah, we're doing well with our day trades and swing trades, but that's because we follow patterns. And look, if a pattern is bullish, in general, you want to be in uptrends no matter what the market's doing. But obviously, it's easier to be in an uptrend doing a market uptrend. However, I've found that when you're day trading stocks on an intraday basis using 1-minute charts, that we can be very successful with trading patterns, even when the market's down. We've had days when the market was down. Dow was down 200 points, and we had 5 or 6 long swings, long intraday trades that day. So here's where we're at. We've had a big run up. The market obviously got killed in January and then came back big time from the February lows, and it was a little extended short term. But now we've had 5 waves down, and that may be either a completion or the first leg of a much deeper retrace. We don't know yet. I can see inverse head and shoulders forming on the NASDAQ 100 and S&P 500, but it doesn't mean anything until that pattern is complete. It could just as easily be a consolidation leg that kind of is leg wave 2 within a 5-wave decline, which means we could have 3 more waves, 1 down, 1 up, and then 1 big one down. So again, I'm not clear on where this market's headed until I get a definitive thrust in either direction. And right now, it's kind of neutral for me.
For listeners who are not familiar with inverse head and shoulders, why don't you define that for them?
Well, it's when the stock makes a lower low, bounces, and then makes even a lower low. But then when it bounces the next time, it makes a higher low and kind of forms what it was called a head and shoulders, where you got 2 peaks on either side of the head. that in a top would be below the high, and in a bottom would be above the low. And so, I mean, it's hard to describe if you're not seeing it as I'm talking to you about it, but that's basically what that is. And head and shoulders, I've always told my people, head and shoulders mean nothing until they're completed, because until they break the neckline and break support or resistance, depending on whether it's inverse or regular, it's just potentially a consolidation pattern. So that's what you got to be wary of. People are always anticipating patterns, and I think the worst thing you can do in the market is anticipate anything, because the market will prove you wrong when you're anticipating. And I often say when I'm doing my swing trades, the pattern looks great. I'm recommending a swing here, but I may be either early or I may be completely off because the pattern isn't quite broken out or completed. Sometimes I just go on my gut feel and I go on what my historical experience tells me, and I've been doing this over 50 years. I can get a good feeling for patterns. I'm an expert on pattern recognition. I have kind of a photographic memory, so I can spot these things even without drawing my lines. One of the beauties of my site is that I literally do webinars all day, and I draw the lines as they're developing, so people can see the patterns as they're developing, and I do webinars all day for my people. As one of the reasons they love being in there, because they feel like they're totally in control of what the pattern's telling them.
I certainly can testify to that, Harry. You do a fabulous job all day on the air. You're going over the chart patterns. In fact, Harry just mentioned he's a 50-year veteran of technical analysis. He's also the author of the Profitable Day and Swing Trading book, which was named by Stock Traders Almanac as the 2015 Best Investment Book of the Year. So we got to congratulate Harry for that. Yeah, I do monitor some of his intraday stuff, folks, and it's really intense, and you get to see chart patterns unfold right before your eyes. Harry, are there a couple of favorite plays out there that you can talk about that are perhaps near-term in nature versus just today?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just put out a swing trade today on CWEI at Clayton Williams. And again, that's one of those stocks that I'm anticipating has such a beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern. After coming off of, this stock was 140 2 years ago, and as recently as last year, literally in October, it was 70. It's got down to under 7, then reversed and shot up to 21, and now it's consolidating here in that high teens. I think if it gets over 21, 22 zone, you can see 30, 33, and even much higher on a recovery. All of it depends, in my opinion, on how strong oil holds up and whether or not it makes any new highs or not. But there's quite a few oil stocks, TRGP, CNX, two other oil stocks that we've done very well with that look great in terms of their overall structure of the pattern. I'm not necessarily bullish on oil. I just trade the patterns as I see them. I think that, I told everybody when oil was in the 30s that it was going down to the mid-20s. It went down to 26. And now I'm telling you that I think 48, 50, maybe 55 is kind of a ceiling over the next few weeks and months. So I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of price progress. But some of these oils that got crushed and have big short positions, I think you're seeing a lot of covering and a lot of bargain hunting. There's a few other stocks that I like. The stock I recommended recently at the 6 range, CEMI, Chembio Diagnostics, and they're involved with developing a new Zika test, and they're working with the government of Brazil. The stock has run from 4 to 8 recently, and it looks like it could be 10 or 12. If they get that contract, it could be a rocket ship. So you just don't know yet. But that's one I'm watching carefully. Very, very strong chart. The problem with that one, it's a little on the thin side.
One of my favorites is GW Pharmaceutical, Harry.
Doing well.
Harry, one of my favorites is GW Pharmaceutical. That seems to be up a bit today. Do you have any feel for that one?
I do, and it's a stock that I put a swing trade on as well. Look, I love any biotech that gaps up, pulls back, consolidates, and doesn't break down too far. Because when it's setting up a pattern like that, it usually goes higher. Now, for example, if you look at CPXX, it was a chart that exploded in March on a drug approval. And it consolidated only for a few days and just kept going, literally, and it exploded around the 8-9 zone and then went up to 17. Right now it's 14. So that's a stock I still like. But GWPH, it's forming a large 7 or 8 week kind of wedge or coil pattern. I think that's bullish. As long as it doesn't break support at 69.70. It has a shot at running up towards the 88.90 range, taking that out and running it to the low 100s. I have a target of about first of all, 100. And then about 115.18.
Thank you.
78.81 today.
We ran out of time. Harry, thank you so much for being with us. Harry Boxer from thetechtrader.com. That's the best way our listeners can get in touch with you, correct? Go to thetechtrader.com.
Go to thetechtrader.com and check it out for a free trial, no credit card needed. And if you sign up, you'll get a free DVD, 2-disc DVD on day and swing trading just for signing up. You don't have to, when I say signing up, just for trying the trial.
Thank you, Harry. A pleasure having you. Have you back real soon, my good friend Harry Boxer from the Tech Trader.
Talk to you soon, Mark.
Thank you again, Harry. Yes, we only could cram in so many stocks in a short time frame. So where I follow stocks technically using volume patterns, Harry uses conventional chart line formations. Many are in the classic charting books, like the McGee book that was published in 1948. So definitely check and use both. Look at the chart patterns if you are technical. I always believe that financial statements are showing you the past, but if you want to see what's happening in the markets now, you've got to look at the technical pattern. I'm not saying you ignore fundamentals completely. You know what the business it is, or what industry it is, or whether you're getting group action or not. But I particularly focus on the volume when I talk about this at my workshops and here at vrtrader.com. Volume precedes price. Smart money is at work to the upside or the downside, and when you see that come in, you have to respect it. And as far as the overall markets are concerned, you're seeing volume starting to come into the downside here in a seasonally negative period. So we are cautious on the markets. I've talked about this for the last several weeks, and we're in the summer period, so we're sort of trading the short side here and taking advantage of that, and still bullish on the metals, thinking that a little bit of a pullback phase here, but overall the trend has changed there. Bonds still look positive, so a lot of action out there, and of course we're focusing on specific stocks as we see them, and we talked about the cement stocks earlier in the segment as well. So I want to thank Sinclair for joining us today, and Harry, and remind you that if you have any questions, you can email me at mark.vrtrader.com. Every week we like to close with my favorite comment from my good friend from the Financial News Network. We will know in the fullness of time. Speak to you next week.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Purchase a ProPure system during the Crazy May sale and get a free ProMax shower filter or water filter pitcher. Remove up to 200 contaminants with the Pro 1G 2.0 truly cleanable, reusable filter. We don't stretch our claims. We just deliver performance. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.